If you've already watched our first video in this series, or even tackled a few track days yourself, in this next instalment, I'm going to show you how to get the best out of both yourself and your Hyundai i30N. The i30N isn't your average hot hatch. It's one of the most powerful and best equipped machines of its kind. A 202 kilowatt engine, active exhaust, adaptive suspension, and an electronically controlled mechanical limited slip differential are just some of its technical details. So to really get the best out of it, you need to understand what it's fully capable of. Now let's start with this. The N mode drive system gives you 5 different options to play with: normal, sport, N custom, and eco. Although you can pretty much forget that one on the track. Normal gives a nice smooth road feel, like you're driving a normal car down the road. Sport makes it a little bit crisper, a little bit nicer, a little bit edgier, a bit more fun to drive, and N makes the whole car come alive. That's where the real potential of this car comes out and creates a real driving experience. It allows you to alter each of the car's adjustable components: engine, gearbox rev matching, differential, exhaust, suspension, and steering in any combination you want. And there are 1,944 options to choose from, so you're bound to find one you like. Each aspect has at least 2 settings. The engine has normal, sport and sport plus, same for the gearbox, suspension, steering and exhaust, while the diff has normal and sport modes. Even the electronic stability control has 3 different modes: normal, sport plus and off completely. Off is best for the track. So for example, depending on the track that you're on and the conditions that you're running in, you can tailor the N mode to suit exactly what you want. So you can have nice soft suspension but a hard steering wheel feel. You can have a lot of engine response but the quiet exhaust. You can tailor it all to suit yourself. That's a real strong point of the i30N. But enough of the theory, let's put it into practice. Now, like most cars, front wheel drives have their own characteristics. Front wheel drives are very unique in that a lot of the weight is over the front of the tyres, over the front tyres that is. So it's very critical that we're very smooth with our inputs. So no sudden inputs, smooth on the wheel, tapering off the brake pedal as you come into a corner, and even getting on the throttle, make it nice and progressive. The reason for that is the front tyres generally can't cope with the load. If you can imagine on a front wheel drive, not only do they have to do all the steering, they've got to do the braking and the accelerating. Asking the front tyres to do a lot of work. So the initial application should be relatively soft with the brake pedal, but tapering on as you push it on, and that's really not to, essentially that's to not trip the ABS. Not only is the overall braking of the car quite incredible, it's also the modulation. That is so critical on a front wheel drive to get right. Essentially, my brake modulation determines how much weight transfer is happening at different parts of the corner. So as I'm coming in, tapering off the brake pedal, winding lock on, I can change the attitude of the car just with my brake and not through the steering wheel. That's really critical in these front wheel drives, as they're so sensitive to weight transfer. Too much, I'm just going to create understeer. Not enough, I won't be able to get the front to dig in to get to the apex of the corner. So I'll take you through the motions of getting into and out of a corner here. So the initial application should be relatively soft and press harder as you get into the braking area. Your inputs of the steering wheel should be very smooth. So progressively wind lock on, and at the same time you want to ease out the brake pedal. Remember what I said about too much load on the front tyres? You can't have too much of a good thing. You can't have too much brake and you can't have too much steering. So once you get to the apex of the corner, we want to have the brake tapered off completely, starting to wind off lock, and at the same time starting to feed the throttle on. And as we see the exit of the corner, we want to be approaching full throttle. Now let me demonstrate to you what happens when you're too aggressive with your input. What I've done there is I've created an understeer moment. No good. No good for the tyres, no good for lap time, just kills the whole mood of the car essentially. What I want to do is be nice and smooth, wind the lock on until I reach that maximum grip, because what that allows me to do is get the maximum potential of these tyres. And that's really a trade of a front-wheel drive, because they just don't like those sudden inputs because there's just so much weight there. So you just have to drive accordingly. It's not a bad thing. It's just a different way of approaching it, as you would with compared to a rear-wheel drive car or even an all-wheel drive car. As I'm coming onto the main straight here, I feed the power on, and it's a bit of an odd feeling. The front's actually tucking in and helping me get around the corner. So if I'm actually off the throttle, what I've found is I don't have the grip that I want. When I feed it on, I actually get more grip. It's a really cool feeling, and it really asks you to drive the car harder. Another cool thing about the N is the in-car lap timer. I can set a reference point on the track. Every time I go past it, it sets a lap time for me. That's really good for wanting to know, okay, I've done a 1:11 here, for instance. Why did I do that? An 11.5, I've gone slower. Why has that happened? It's really good for analysing on the go and knowing what's happening at certain parts of the track. Now, from a driver's perspective, having all the adjustable modes in N Custom really adds to this experience, and I can change the characteristics of this car exactly how I want it. Me personally, I like quite a soft steering wheel feel. I'd like a bit of body roll. It's just me, it's how I like it. Some guys like it nice and stiff and hard moving around, but that's what I've come up with, and that's what I'm driving in at the moment. If I want to, I can even turn off the exhaust sound. We have a Sport Plus to normal. Lost a bit of the snap, crackle and pop that we did have before. I'm going to turn that back on, I think, actually. Make sure to keep eyes on the road. I hope this has been a help to you in understanding this amazing little car. Like anything in life, practice makes perfect. So I've told you the fundamentals about how to get the most out of the car. Now get out there and have some fun. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube for more N Performance updates.